Hi everybody, welcome to GearGossip. Thank you for watching this video, which is, I'm afraid, again about another electric guitar amp. This time it's the Palmer Eins. Eins is the German word for one, the number one. And it looks like this. Yes, it is that small. The bare necessities in terms of controls, lightweight, though made of metal, featuring 1 watt of output. There's only 2 preamp tubes in there, so what did you expect? First thought would be, one of these don't harass the neighbors while you're practicing at night amps. Wrong, as you will see from the features. The first thing that I noticed was the angled front when I used this input, because this amp is very small and very light, and if it wasn't angled, you would push away your amp while plugging in the guitar. This way you're plugging down. This amp doesn't move. Very clever. Then volume, boost, and a tone. That is just the treble roll-off. On-off and an LED that indicates this thing is on. Power in and speaker out. 8 and 16 ohms. And 2 more outs that deserve a little bit of explanation. This is a line out. Frequency compensated. Palmer is infamous for their speaker simulations. PDI 03, PDI 09, and the PDI 09 is in normal setting built into this one. And we have an high Z out. What? High Z means this is the whole sound of this amp without any frequency compensation boiled down to instrument level. So you're free to use this as a preamp for your already existing amp, or you can go from there into your pedal board, chorus, compression, reverb, whatever. Toy sounds more like a tool actually. What you can see, I won't show now because I'm just too lazy to use screwdrivers, is that you can put off the lid and change tubes. There's 2 tubes in there. Type is 12A something 7 that work as a preamp tube and as a power tube, and therefore you have 1 watt of output. Yes, you can change them. Yes, I will show you the differences. More features? No, I guess it's enough, as you will hear. We are not talking the toy section, like I don't want any high volume because I don't want to harass the neighbors while I'm rehearsing late at night. We are talking I don't need any high volume because I'm only recording and playing live. Huh? What? I need high output when I'm playing live. Just a minute. This is the setup. Amp, okay, this was obvious, I guess, into a speaker cabinet. This is an isolation cabinet, by the way, with a Jensen C12Q in there and 2 microphones that I'm going to switch back and forth between, and then back into this microphone preamp. Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing through my monitors. This would be the recording situation, and it's exactly the same for any live situation where you're playing with monitors and PA anyway. If you want to compete with a drummer and a bass player with just your amp, you better run off and buy a 100 or 200 watt amp. If you're reamping anyway, like using monitors and PA, the output of your amp is non-relevant because you're reamping anyway. So live, this would be amp, ISO cap, and then into a preamp or the mixer, and then to your PA. That's it. I guess you want to hear how it sounds. So this is the stock tubes through a Jensen C12Q with an Shure SM57 or an AKG C1000S, and the reverb is added later. Initial setting is about this, because below that I don't hear a thing. The tone is fully open and the boost is not engaged. Humbuckers are 59 semi-Duncans and the single coil side is SSL2s, and this is the neck humbucker. Very open, very transparent. Whoop, whoop, whoop. In between setting. Good difference. And here is the bridge. Did you notice? Hammering down. Stays tight and clean. This is just the basic sound. You can turn down the tone if you want to. That lowers the output. It's just a roll-off. But I prefer to leave it open. And the next single coil. Very hi-fi. Nice and jangly. In between. I guess we could use a little bit more gain. Very nice. The honk position. And the bridge. That's a good clean sound. A little bit more gain because I've switched back to humbuckers. Now compression kicks in. I like playing this because it's very reactive to what you're doing. Complex chords. Ah, there's the distortion. And still ringing and a little bit of block, block, block on the bass strings. But I guess that's the Shure microphone. Well, it goes on like this. Maybe we should kick in some gain. The honk position on single coils. Raw distortion, good deal of compression, very throaty, but that could be the microphone. Let's check with the humbucker. Bridge humbucker, actually. Okay, this is not your average heavy metal sound. This is something between fuzzy and chaotic. Neck. And it goes even further with a boost. Maybe less treble. Ho ho ho, single coils. A little bit fat on the low end. I'm gonna switch the microphone. Oh, that's the condenser mic. I prefer that. Still this chaotic nature, but I like. If you like the sound, it's very usable, but I prefer this chimey sound that come out of this box. Tone almost fully open, a good deal of, compression and a little bit of distortion. I like. So that's the basic sound. I would call it very reactive to what you're playing. It's not hard rock or heavy metal that comes out of this box. No, no, no. I prefer this very, very clean sounds or this slightly overdriven. Very chimey, very open, depending on your choice of speaker and microphone. That's the basic sound. And yeah, you might have guessed it. How does it sound with different tubes? The basic configuration would be 112AX7 as a preamp tube and 112AU7 as a power amp. And now, just for the fun of it, I'm going to replace the stock tubes with these very old stock Telefunken tubes. Same type, but very old, different brand. And this is how they compare. And now the stock tubes versus 2 12AT7. Very low gain. My impression would be the Telefunken set is rounder and thicker and more dense in terms of sound than the stock set. The stock set is more snappy on the bass and a little bit more hollow. And the low gain set, the 12AT7 set, felt much more rock and roll, more aggressive, more raw while playing. But now while I'm listening to it, a little bit less gain, but identical more or less. Okay, Palmer actually supplies a list with what combination should give you what sound, but don't expect huge changes that you can write home about. No. It's just about refining the sound in the direction that you like. Let's put it like this. Enough about tubes. Now for... Of course, you can use this amp as your clean amp for any type of pedal or preamp or whatever. So I've organized myself one of these green thingies that are, well, can be found anywhere, and a booster by BSM, which is very high in terms of output. So we're going to see how this amp handles punishment on the front end. Clean sound, like this. Oh, yeah, let's put it like this. Neck. Whoa, lots of treble. Okay, settled. This is a good solution for making any sort of pedal audible through speakers and then getting re-recorded. Back again to the clean sound, and now I'm going to use that treble booster. Ooh, whoa. Ooh, piercingly. But it's not falling apart. This is really, really high output. Maybe dial down. Now you could call this thing boosted. Humbuckers, neck humbucker for the extra fat sound. Let's not talk about sound a minute, but the output that is hitting that preamp tube is pretty high. And I guess it's a good hint for if you're using high output pickups like any heavy metal player does at the moment. Rest assured, you can get a really clean sound out of this amp, even with high output pickups. Next would be the simulated out. Now we are going to hear the line out, and this is the initial setting again. Let's say like this, and tone almost fully up, no boost. Humbuckers. Ring! Single coils. Okay. Maybe a little bit on the bright side, but nobody ever said that you may not use an equalizer after that. Now with a good deal of bass EQ. I've heard worse sounds through speakers. Very clean, very open, clear bass strings, bridge humbucker. Cool. How does it sound? Frequency compensated with some sort of drive. Neck humbucker. Less EQ. Nice. Single coils. Okay, one thing is sound, which I think is pretty decent. You can also add, again, stomp boxes and whatever, and go directly front of the house, or like I do, into a reverb unit, and from there directly into active speakers. This is all you need. Just this thing and maybe a reverb pedal. Did I say pedal? No, I said multi-effects, because this thing is line out. So you need something behind that that can handle line out. If you don't have that, maybe a chorus pedal, a reverb pedal that you can plug in right after your guitar, you need to use the high Z out. But this high Z out is non-frequency compensated. So if you want to use that thing, you don't go to PA, you're using guitar speakers with some sort of solid state power amp. That's the main difference. This is why I wish this high Z out could be frequency simulated also. Then I could use this amp in front, and after that any Boss or whatever multi-FX, and then straight into front of the house without any speaker involved, without any noise on stage. What's the use of this high Z then? Use it as a preamp to your existing amp, and this is the next scenario. This is why I still have this Mesa Boogie in here, and I'm using this as a preamp for this set to clean. So back to initial setting, like this, no boost engaged, and I've plugged this thing with a high Z into the input of my Mesa Boogie. And the speaker is of course connected to the Mesa Boogie. Isn't that dangerous? Doesn't the Palmer now blow up because there's no speaker connected? No. As soon as you unplug a speaker, this thing is on dummy load, so you can use it without any speaker. Ha! Hooray! Now for the clean sound of my Mesa Boogie. Nah, no, don't, because there's no bypass. So I cannot showcase the clean sound. Believe me, this is my usual clean sound that I use on a Mesa Boogie. Oh, that's bad. Single coils. Bright switch. Oh, works well. Rich single coil. Huh. It's one of these classic old style rock and roll sounds. It also works, but a foot switch would be welcome, or a bypass. Is there more to cover? No, actually. Well, now for some sounds that I eked out of this box, and then for the end of it, the verdict. So much about me and the Palmer Eins. Great little amp, good sounding, and a lot of flexibility, as you have heard. Not in terms of sound, because I think this unit has one sound, Eins, but in terms of usage. There's so many scenarios that you can use this box. It's close to breathtaking. Something to complain about for 250 euros? No. No. I do have some improvements. Maybe you agree with me and maybe not. I will tell you anyway. I'd like to use this box in a Pro version. That would mean rack mountable. One height unit would be enough for that little bit of electronics that is in there. And if I want to use this as another channel for my clean amp, as a stump box, as a preamp, I'd like to have it defeatable with a foot switch, a bypass. And please, could I have this high Z out, low level, and this line out, high level, switchable between simulated and non-simulated? So then I could use it in almost any scenario that you can imagine. That would be welcome. More on these boxes on Palmer Germany, more on Guitar Gear on GearGossip.com, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned.